Halito Chimachukma, this is Chief Steve, coming to you guys with another word of encouragement here on True Story. To my new subscribers, Yakoki, thank you so much for rocking with me. My new subscribers on YouTube, we are over 120 plus strong, and you guys have my deepest gratitude. So grateful to be the one to give you guys the true story behind the history that has not been told to our people, that's been withheld from our people for a very long time. So for y'all who are new to this is your first word of encouragement. The reason behind these words is to encourage you to continue going forward on your journey. I mean, we all go through a lot in our lives, and amongst all things, we're still learning the truth and dealing with, our daily things that we deal with, whether it be work, whether it be family, both, social life, whatever, what have you. Either way, as we learn these things, it impacts us in different ways in all spectrums, as a matter of fact, in our lives. So I find it fitting that in between the the deep content and really digging deep into these different books, that we take some time out to really unwind and talk about some things, whether it be revealing what we've learned or just getting some things off of our chest and you know just keeping each other encouraged. So for my new subscribers and those who have been rocking me with me for a while, just want to say welcome once again to another word of encouragement. By all means, anything positive that you guys want to drop in the comment section, be sure to do that, because we're here to encourage one another. This is what we do. Pretty soon I'll be doing these live. I want to make sure I get to a certain number of subscribers before I do that, so that we can have a good number of people, coming in and doing this thing. And if you guys would like me to start going live, let me know in the comments. I'll take it under advisement. But for now, these are pre-recorded. I have some notes and different things that I'd like to hit on. But for the most part, like I said, this is just a time for us to come together and literally just be in the moment. Besides everything that we've been learning, everything that we've been going through since the last video, because the last one that we did, which was the Indians' land and the government's plan, the last real deep content that we got into, it got pretty heavy, and got real passionate and everything. So, it's a good thing to have a moment to reflect, a moment to breathe, and overstand and understand that everything that we're learning affects us in some way, shape, or form in our daily life. So, without further ado, we can get right into it. Being a chief, and I got a lot of people asking me, well, are you a chief of a nation, a different, a certain tribe? Or I'm a chief of my tribe. I'm a chief of my family. my family looks to me as a chief. And when I share this information with you, with my Nijis, I consider you guys my family. You know, on this platform, I am my own chief, and I speak amongst you guys, other chief and chiefess of your households. And I hold you all in high regard. And so, as a chief, I feel that words of encouragement are deeply needed, especially when you have a big family such as myself. We go through a lot of things, and you know, it's good to be able to take a moment and just appreciate one another, come together and appreciate one another for who each other are and for everything that we've been learning, everything that we've been going through school, through, our jobs, through just daily life. Just having that moment of reflection and letting each other know that we're not alone in our individual situations. So, like I said, I wanted to give thanks to all you guys for tuning in, being here, and really going in deep with me on this journey. Like I said before, when I first started this a couple of months ago, I did not have a set goal or milestone that I wanted to reach. I just felt it in my heart that information had to be shared for my personal family and for the extended family, for the Nijis out there that are still looking and searching and trying to find the truth for what it is, unfiltered, you know. So this is why I do what I do. But yeah, to the 120 plus strong that's here today, I thank you guys. To the 300 plus followers on X, I give thanks, Yakoki, for rocking with me. I'm most active on X, on Twitter, so I've experienced a lot of a real surge in followers, for lack of a better term, on Twitter or X. And I just want to say Yakoki to those that made the crossover from that platform to here and are rocking with me for these extended videos. I really appreciate it. And yeah, as you see, there's definitely, more that's in the mix, more information constantly being put out there. And we ain't stopping no time soon, you know. So that's one thing I would like to do is give thanks to all you guys on all across my platforms, even on TikTok. I believe I have up to 40 followers on TikTok as of this video. And I want to say, Yakoki, I appreciate y'all that made the crossover from that platform to these more extended videos here on the YouTube channel. Thanks for supporting me. I really appreciate it. And also in this moment, I want to give thanks to the ancestors for manifesting in real time and helping our people wake up. Because I truly feel in my heart that we are their second coming. We are that new line of soon to be ancestors, that future generations will look up to way further down in the future. Because we're living in a beautiful time to where we now realize who we are after so many years of suppression, so many years of oppression, we have finally made it to a collective consciousness to where even though it's not everyone that's on board, it's a good number of us, a good remnant of us that are taking heed and having that ear to hear, them eyes to see, and really embracing our indigeneity, our roots, as our ancestors did in the past. And not only embracing it, being proud of it. That's the main thing, is being proud of who you are and standing in your truth. It seems like that's something that I preach on a daily, is being proud of who you are and standing in your truth, because now the truth is out. There's no hiding the truth anymore. You can't hide it. Nobody is threatening us. Nobody is unaliving us on such a huge extent, or you know oppressing us in such an extreme manner to where we can't bring the truth out for the safety of our people, for the safety of our families, for the safety of our lives. We're not living in those times anymore. It's the 21st century. It's 2023, and we are still here as a people. And yeah, we've been dealt a huge number of you know obstacles, to say the least, during these decades and even centuries. Yet we still come out strong, stronger than we ever have. And this is a generation, talking about my generation, and those of you who are listening, your respective, if you're living in this time right now, you know what time it is. You're listening to this right now, you hear my voice, you know what time it is. And this is a time to be proud. This is a time to embrace. This is a time to connect. And this is a time to stand strong in the truth of who we are. And not only know it for ourselves, but to spread the word. You know, spread the word in our respective ways, however you decide to do it. But the word must get out there. And I know a lot of us, is hard to speak to family members or speak to, significant others or close friends about these matters. And now we have an outlet. We have different ways and means to do these things. If they won't receive the information directly, we can give the information, put the information out there on a mass level via social medias, via the YouTube channel, via these different algorithms. And the beautiful thing is, the information is everywhere. You can't stop it. This is something that has been a long time in the making, and now it's here. It's finally here. And it's a beautiful thing to be proud of, because our people now know the truth. Some of us have been known the truth, but now a lot of us are comfortable in speaking the truth and living in the truth. And if you aren't at that level yet, still searching, I understand. I get it, you know. Yet at the same time, know that you're not alone. Know that you have Nijis behind you. You got Chief Steve, for sure. I ain't going nowhere. Matter of fact, we just beginning. 120 strong, and it's over numbers more that have yet to catch on to this frequency. Guarantee you that it's going to happen. And we will all be present to witness this renaissance that's happening right now. Because I don't know about you, but a lot of these old theories that have been holding us down, they're starting to get old real fast, such as the out of Africa theory. That in itself, that's getting old really, really fast. It's it's not hitting like it used to, and a lot of people know it. A lot of people know it. So one thing that I know for sure, sorry guys, one thing that I know for sure is that we've come to a realization as a collective that information is going to be put out there, whether it be positive or negative, true or false, and a certain level of discernment is necessary for us in order to move forward as a collective. So, that being said, we know that theories are nothing more than a person's speculation. And this out of Africa theory, this thing that's been holding us down for so long, I mean, so long, and something that was not even created by our people, but created by somebody else. I'm going to show you this image right here. These are the fathers of the Pan African movement, the fathers of the so called African history of our people. And it was never created to help us, to benefit us. It was never created to inform us and bring us to a bring us to a knowledge of self. It was always designed to keep us down. Okay? So understand that this theory is nothing more than just a theory. You have people that were literally sent and designated to keep us suppressed and oppressed. These are different individuals that you can look up yourself, and you can see their role in keeping our people away from their truth. To say that all life originated from one part of the world and populated the planet is not only ridiculous, it is disrespectful to all of the original people, the soul people of every respective soil on this big, beautiful planet. The out of Africa theory is the equivalent to evolution, the evolution theory. And you guys know what the evolution theory is, saying that we all came from primates, you know, that we all came from one place and we all came from one species and we just evolved and one became superior than the other. This was all done in the name of white supremacy. You know this is not true. Those who know truly know that this is not true. This is the same people, and those who believe this also believe that we all came from primates, and this has been debunked. It's all BS, you know. And if you believe this as an individual, this terrible, degrading theory, and you claim to love the continent of which this theory originates, or this theory gives origin to, which we know it's not true. But then to say that, well, I believe in this, I believe we all came from here. We all came from Africa. All civilization started in Africa. Forget all of the original people from everywhere else. All the beautiful copper tone people, Aboriginal people that are in these different regions and have their own beautiful and strong history, true story. Forget all of them. We all came from this one place. We all came from what they call Africa, in which the true indigenous people of that landmass don't even know it as Africa. These different tribes have different vibes out there. They have different names and wording for their landmass. Real ones do, you know. But for you to say that we all came from this one place that was made up, that was given a made up name, not having any specifics, no specific history, no specific story, just that we all came from a certain species. We all came from primates. That's basically saying that the continent that you love, the continent that you want to be a part of so bad, is nothing more than a large breeding ground of primates, which gives these powers that be, these powers that be, all right by scientific law to turn this continent into a huge experimental laboratory. And they've done that for the past few centuries. And that's not right. It's not right at all. Because who we know as Africans, should I say the original inhabitants of that continent, they themselves have a strong history, a strong true story. They are a strong people. They are a resilient people, despite all of the oppression that they've been through and that they're experiencing now. They are still there. A lot of them have been baited into fleeing their country and going to different continents in hopes for a better situation. And everyone has their own individual story as far as that goes, why they decide to leave. Yet at the same time, the bottom line is they felt that they're leaving to go somewhere better because they were told that there was better opportunity somewhere else. And all while they're told about this opportunity, whether it be true or false. And for a lot of people, it's a false sense of hope that they leave and they're going to something better. Yet at the same time, you have a lot of people who don't look like them going into the continent and establishing their footing there and claiming their superiority and exploiting their land and doing the same thing that was done to us out here on Turtle Island, establishing foreign governments, establishing foreign entities, companies, and taking advantage of the original people, the original inhabitants of that land, and claiming all of the resources for themselves. They did the same thing here, and they have and are doing the same thing over there. So, with no pun intended, we are a bit in the same boat. So, the fighting between us has to stop. We need to acknowledge each other for our differences and know that we did not all originate on one side of the planet. So, all this petty arguments and debates, they have to stop because it's disrespectful to one another to try to defend this bullshit ass theory that should not have been created in the first place, but was merely created just to suppress one group of people on one side of the planet by totally taking away their identity so that they can benefit. You see? See how this all comes together? So this has to stop. It really does. Because both sides should be pissed. Both sides of the world should be pissed off at what these people who have nothing to do with any of us on either side have established to try to divide and conquer the world because they feel they have an inferior complex. So they want everybody else to feel inferior so that they can feel superior. It needs to stop. The division needs to stop. We can come together. It is possible to work together. Yet we have to respect one another. And we have to have more knowledge of self. That's more important. Before any of us can even come together, even us as a collective here on Turtle Island, before we can come together, we have to have an innate knowledge of self. And we have to be strong and proud enough in who we are to know that, hey, we are who we are and we're proud of who we are. And nothing or no one's going to stop us from knowing that and living in that, standing firm in that. Okay? And it's happening. But it doesn't happen when we are constantly debating and arguing with each other over this crappy theory. A theory. A theory. It's not even truth. It's a theory. It's what somebody thinks is true. Somebody from over 100 years ago thought that this was true, knowing that it wasn't. But just by presenting it as a theory has completely flipped a spectrum and has caused a lot of people to fall by the wayside. Has caused, you know, a whole people to forget who they are. And I hate to admit that so much power was radiated from such individuals, such collectives. And best believe it wasn't just them. A lot of us jumped on board. A lot of our people betrayed us in the process. And that was just to get what they felt like is promised to a lot of us today, to be put on the in a better situation in the middle of exploitation. But it wasn't worth it. You know why? Because the truth is out yet again. And we are coming forward to our true identity yet again. And that's why I said, do not get baited into a debate with someone who is ignorant or foolish, because this is bad for the growth of our people, and it's bad for you as an individual. It's bad for your mental health to do these things. And when I say don't debate, don't get baited into a debate, you got people out there that are ignorant of this notion and are just following the mass, and then you got some people that are foolish that see the truth in plain sight. So like I said, this is 2023. We got information galore. See this in plain sight, and yet and still they choose to just, yeah. They just choose to live this false facade, either because they're exploiting their own people themselves by making money off of it, or they just truly, like I said, they just don't know or choose not to, because it's definitely a culture shock when you realize that everything that you've been taught and everything that you've went hard in the paint for a number of years is all BS. It could do a number to the mind. And some people just cannot jack out the matrix because they rather die fighting for it, because it's all they feel that that's all they have. They're afraid to embrace a new spectrum, or because they went so hard in the paint, they are afraid of what others would think of them. But I mean, hey, and if you're one of those people, or if you've been one of them at one point, you understand, you overstand and understand that when you forget, well, not even forget, when you just decide to, when you just decide to stop letting other people's opinions dictate how you feel, when you're learning these new things and you just come into the truth and you accept it for what it is, you drop what you're doing and you just accept the truth for what it is, and not by anybody else's word or accord, but by your own due diligence. When you just let go and embrace the truth, it is a liberating feeling. Yeah, it can be scary at times. It can feel like you're alone, but when you realize that you are not alone, there are others like you that have been there, has experienced that, and are experiencing currently what you're experiencing. And, you're able to link together with them, communicate like we're doing here right now. It's a beautiful thing, and you don't feel alone so much anymore. And you become strong in that, and stronger than you've ever been when you were in the prior state of thinking. So, like I said, when you get there, when you see others who may be ignorant of the fact, or who may be in that foolish state of mind to where they know, but they just don't want to accept it, then you see that, hey, I know for who, I know myself for who I am. It's up to them to make that conscious decision. But the last thing that you want to do is get baited into a debate or an argument with one of these ones that are just in such a compromisable situation mentally on an individual level, you know, because that brings you back down to that lower frequency where you once were. And not saying that you just forget the truth that you know, but it can cause second guessing. And even when it doesn't cause second guessing, it can cause resentment for those ones that do not know, or those ones that choose not to acknowledge. It can cause hatred. And that's something that, like I said, you have to focus on yourself at that point. You can't let that wear down on your mental. You can't let it destroy you on the inside to where you don't, now you feel like you can't share this information, or you feel like it's not worth, you know, extending that helping hand to those that are genuinely not knowing and are asking genuine questions and wanting to know more. You start to put people in a category. You start to, put people in a box. And that's something that I personally had to deal with on my own as I'm coming into this truth and starting to share this information. I had to overstand and learn to not categorize people and put them all in a box. And just to know that each individual has their own story and they have their own path that they must follow. And not everybody is going to reach the same destination at the same time. And you have to accept that and know that although you walk this path and this path may be different from that individual, you still do not walk that path alone. There are still other like minded people out there, and that's who we have to connect with, and that's who we have to continue to encourage and allow the information to flow, you know. And just remember where you were at one point and how far you've come, you know. It's like I said, our people, Aboriginal people all over the world, are starting to wake up. And it's a beautiful thing because the truth cannot be suppressed anymore. And my call to action for you guys is to live in your truth and do not be afraid to show who you are in your daily life, whether it be through, just continue to learn the way. Ask your family members, those who are fortunate enough to have family members who know who they are and have a tribal history, a tribal true story. Or you can get more into your roots, and then even those who aren't fortunate and had to do the research themselves and find these things may not have elders that are completely in agreement, or elders that are willing to share, or those that were willing to share not there with you anymore. You still have the self-reliance and the resiliency to learn about the traditions of your people, learn about the traditions of the tribes from a general standpoint, and coming into a realization that, we are who we are and our culture is what it is, despite what they label it, despite what they call it. Our culture is still our culture. Everything that you do, live, and breathe today is our culture. Everything that you've learned, that you've experienced on a personal level, that you know to be something that roots you, no matter what they called it back then, or what they try to label it as, or they try to reclassify it as. It's our roots. It's who we are. And that's one thing about us as a soul people from this soil. They were never able to take us away from our roots. They suppressed our identity. They oppressed us because of our identity. Yet, they were never able to truly steal the essence of our people away, because we are who we are and we've always been who we are. And the simple fact of the matter is, we are the blueprint. It's in our code since day one. Before foreigners even got here, we've always been on code. And you can still see it in the remnants of our culture today. And it's up to you to pick up the pieces and realize and see those things for what they are, and being proud of that and standing firm in that, you know? And you can even do that on a physical level and coming into these truths, rocking that indigenous jewelry. We are people that embrace gold. We embrace platinum. We embrace the minerals of this planet because we are of this soil. So everything from the soil we embrace: the gold, the copper, the turquoise, you know, the different jewelries, feathers, nature. Do not be afraid to rock your feathers, you know, rather you hunt and get those feathers, or even if you got to go pay for some feathers. I mean, you got people that pay for feathers, and that's fine, you know, because the true thing is, as long as they real and they have a life source, you know, and even if you have a fox feather, you know, something that reminds you of who you are, you know, don't be afraid or ashamed to rock that. Get them feathers up, get that jewelry on, be proud of who you are, and rock it to the fullest. Be strong in who you are. You're not a poser, you're not a pretender. You are who you are, despite what you do, despite what you rock, despite how you decide to express yourself. Nobody can take away who you are as an Aborigine, as the original. Whatever you do is the original. You're doing it like nobody else. You know why? Because there's only one you. There's only one us. And we set the trends. We are the trendsetters. We do this. We have always done this on this soil, and we have impacted other soils on this planet by doing what we do, rocking the way that we rock. And that's something that you can be proud of. You feel me? So I tell you this right now, there's no random person in your daily life, in your daily real life, outside of social media. Nobody is going to go out of their way and call you something that you're not, or tell you you're not who you say you are. Nobody's walking up to you and doing stuff like that in 2023, going into 2024. I'll be damned. Nobody is doing that to anybody, especially us. There's very few, if any, especially those who do not look like us. Very few, outside of those specific ones that they like to call Karens and Kens or whoever. And that's usually when they acting up or coming at you in a certain way. That's an inferiority complex. Tell you that right now. It ain't even worth the engagement. But not getting too far off. Very few, if any, especially those who do not look like us, has the audacity or the courage to do that, to call you out of who you are, or to say that you're not who you claim that you are outside of social media. Because anybody can be a keyboard warrior. You can talk crap from 100 miles away, 1,000 miles away, and not expect any consequence or repercussions of that. And we ain't, that's why I said you got to understand the ignorant and the foolish. Not even understand, you got to overstand them, and you gotta just move a different way. Don't even encourage it. It's like I tell my people on X, keep your block hand strong. Don't be ashamed or don't feel any kind of way or feel like letting somebody win when you decide to mute their ass or block their ass and not hear from them anymore or don't give a response. Because to respond to ignorance does what? It doesn't do anything but give ignorance more fuel and ammunition to show itself, more foolishness to give fuel and show itself. And it ain't gonna do nothing but damage your mental health at the end of the day, because you feel like you've exerted all of your mental capacity, putting all of this energy into trying to argue this person down to no avail. It's just not worth it. Even those little wins that our people get on there is still not worth it. That energy can be channeled into connecting our people with like minds, bringing our people together, making our people stronger with such words of encouragement as this, you know, speaking light, speaking positivity, speaking life into each other and building each other up. That should be our main focus and priority. Encouraging one another to continue to stand in our truth, because our presence, your presence, one listening to my voice right now, your very presence is powerful and it speaks volumes by itself. So do not suppress your inner need to outwardly express yourself. Be who you are and be proud of who you are, despite what anybody says. And if someone misidentifies you out of ignorance, politely correct them. If it's out of true, genuine ignorance, not knowing, lack of knowledge, politely correct them. Take that time to drop an info bomb, educate them, because we are naturally the teachers and influencers of this planet. Like I said earlier, we are the blueprint. Anything we do and say, anything we act upon, the whole world is watching. Her saw a post from a sister who's a boxing champion. One thing that she said, I had to requote that and repost that. You can see that on Twitter, on X. Said haters are gonna hate you. Haters are gonna hate, but they're always gonna be watching you to see what you do next. And although they hate you, they still watching. They still watching to see what you're gonna do next, because they can't take your eyes off you because you're that amazing. You are literally living rent free in their mind, to where they literally are planning their whole day to give another reason to hate you. And that's because they want to be like you. They really want to be you. And that's what I'm noticing with a lot of the negativity, which is not a lot, but the majority of the negativity that I've received in starting this journey. They really want to be like us, and they're really trying to figure out, how are we as a people so strong and resilient to, you know, be labeled so many things and to follow so many trends, or not even follow some, it's to set so many trends and embrace embrace ourselves despite all the misnomers, despite all the oppression, all of the suppression, still able to come together and stand strong in something, even though it's been proven at one point to be false. How are we able to just have so much resiliency and pride and strength despite all of the negativity? And that's because that essence of pride and strength and resiliency is in our code. It's a part of our culture. The struggle of overcoming and reveling in the pride of triumph is in our code. You know, we look at struggle and we literally inhale it and we breathe it out. And then we rise to the occasion every time as a people, and we show our excellence every day as a people, our resiliency every day as a people. That's because it's embedded in us. Greatness is literally embedded in us. Excellency is literally embedded in us. And that's why we make the world go round the way it do. And a lot of people hate us for that. I wouldn't even say a lot of people. A few. A few in high places and a few in low places really hate us for that. And that's just because they want to be like us. They really want to see how we operate and how we move and why we do what we do so that they can try to copy and emulate it. But if somebody misidentifies you in ignorance and lack of knowledge, let them know what's up. Let them know who you are. But if somebody misidentifies you purposefully out of disrespect and foolishness, knowing who we are, yet purposely refuse to acknowledge you out of disrespect, do not back down. Do not shrink. Stand your ground. Stand 10 toes down and proudly proclaim who you are with clarity and concision. Match that energy. As a matter of fact, don't match it. Rise above it. Bring that big chief or that big chiefess energy. Bring it forward and let your voice be heard and your presence felt. Because you'd be surprised at how many are not built for verbal, much less physical confrontation. Like I said, a lot of them they move negatively towards us. Uh, they show their inferiority, and not saying that we're better than anybody or anybody's better than us or lower than us. They're showing that on an individual level. It's because of what they feel inside, even though they may be from a proud lineage. They're not knowing who they are. You know, they can be from something they can be proud of, but their lack of knowing or their refusal to acknowledge and just their overall gung ho, just hell bent attitude of trying to bring you down, so focused on that, on bringing us down, that they forget who they are or don't acknowledge who they are. And in that light, in that same light, they feel inferior to us because they don't know. They're not taking the time to focus on themselves. You have to rise above those kind of people. You hear me? You have to be better than that. That state of mind, you have to be better than. Because if they see that you are passionate about who you are, they will back off. And I'm saying that on a physical level. They'll back off. Sometimes it may lead to a cutoff or a distancing, and that's necessary. You know, But let's be real. Those who consider themselves, anti Indian or, Pan African or, whatever they want to call themselves or label themselves, that's against us and against this truth that we're coming into, that we're rediscovering for ourselves. Those who, you know, say that they're against that, they don't want the smoke. They don't. They do not want the smoke. Because a lot of them are and may be hopelessly devoted to they're hopelessly devoted followers of, like I said, those are pushing these different agendas. I'm not gonna name no names, but those who follow these theories, those who are being paid literally to keep our people suppressed. They may be following somebody who is a government agent. Because you got those government agents sent to distract us from our renaissance. And a lot of them look like us. Hence COINTELPRO. If you don't know what that is, look it up. COINTELPRO. But like I said, it's a renaissance happening. It's a resurgence of our true identity. And it's a beautiful thing. The Harlem Renaissance was in the 1920s. And I find it so amazing that 100 years later, in the 2020s, we are part of another one. And I like to call this the Amerindian Renaissance. We were rocking feathers back then, and today we rocking them just as hard. It's time to start throwing them feathers up. Let's start expressing ourselves more, especially via the fine arts. We got a lot of beautiful, amazing individuals who are coming into this knowledge of self and who have been in this knowledge of self and have been walking in this truth. Some more publicly than others, and some more secretively, or more inclusively to themselves. Yet, these are all beautiful minds, creators of their respective crafts. You know, take for instance Andre 3000 being so comfortable and true in his true identity and his self that he knows that, hey, he doesn't want to rap. He doesn't want to, he doesn't want to contribute to the industry in the way that he used to before. He wants to do his own thing, and he did his own thing with that, you know, with that album he dropped. Shout out to Andre 3000. He's a perfect example of somebody walking in their truth and being proud of who they are despite what anybody thinks. And now all of a sudden, what? The blueprint's been set. Top 50 on the billboards. Longest song to ever hit the billboards in the top 100, 200, or whatever. He in top 50. Longest song ever in history. With no words, though. No lyrics. Him doing his own thing. He's a trendsetter. He a blueprint. And that's who we are as a collective. That's what we do. So let's revel in this renaissance as a call to action to all the creators. Let's dominate the fine arts like we usually do. And let's paint ourselves in our true lighting, in our true identity. Let's be proud of who we are. I'm calling all the artists, all the lyricists, all the poets, all the musicians, all the creators. Let's be proud of who we are, and let's put them feathers up. Let's start letting the world know that we know, because the world been known, but now it's time to let them know that we know now, and that we've been here, and we aren't going anywhere. All right. So I'm gonna end it on that note. You've been rocking with me so far. Yakoki, thank you so much. I really appreciate you guys. You made it this far in the video, whether you're new or not. Share this information. Share this video. We gotta come together. We gotta have a like mind, and we have to encourage one another. We gotta bring life. We gotta speak life to one another. And even if you don't, share this particular video, share information and speak positivity in somebody's life, especially those who are learning this. Speak it into existence. Speak encouragement. Speak strength to each other, to one another. Keep each other lifted up, especially as we go and we learn the harsh realities of this truth. Because we're getting deep, and we're gonna go even deeper on some levels, and some things are gonna be light and cool. Some things gonna be deep and heavy. You know what I'm saying? But either way, we need to keep each other lifted. We need to keep each other in strength. We have to speak life into one another and keep each other going and learning and connected. All right. If you're new, subscribe. I'm here. I'm not going nowhere. This is just the beginning. We're 120 strong plus. I believe we're at 126 last time I checked. That's a beautiful thing. We're still going. Let's keep engaging with one another. Let's keep this energy moving forward. We're not stopping. All right? Not stopping. Gonna keep bringing the true story to y'all. I just need y'all to continue to share, continue to flood this algorithm, continue to keep it moving. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and let me know what you want to know more about in the comments. And I'll be sure to study on it. If I come to a point where I can present it, I will. I'll shout you out. And just make sure that you share the information. That's all I ask. All right? Well, if y'all can't hear in the background, my kids are getting restless. So it's about that time to sign off. Once again, this is Chief Steve saying Tatakista. I cherish y'all. And Yakoki. Till next time.